another webinar for 2021. I'm super excited. This webinar really means a lot to me because Edward has made a huge impact on my life, and not only that, but the lives of others that I get to meet every day. And I'm super grateful, and I'm super pumped for this webinar. As you can see there, it's a great photo. We caught up at the start of the year, and we had a lot of fun. And then we ended up collapsing a lot of time. We spent a couple of days together, and we basically cracked the nut on a few things, Ed. And now, by the way, I shave every second day after our conversation. Okay, that's one thing I take it away. But Edward Zia, thank you so much for coming along, my man.
It's a pleasure. And I got to say, it's an honor to be on what I understand is your 4th live webinar. Congratulations on your new live webinar series.
Ed, thank you so much. And obviously, it was inspired by the awesome Edward Zia. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make this happen sooner rather than later. And I'm super excited. So, Ed, I'm just going to go through a few things, intro, and then we'll get straight into it because I'm going to fast track this because I'm super excited to get rocking and rolling. So, welcome everyone. The key to a successful 2021, talking gratitude, strength, and commitment with the awesome Edward Zia there. And as you can see, he's wearing the same shirt in his photo. It's all about keeping your branding aligned, isn't it, Ed?
Totally. And I'm actually, we're off to the direct factory outlet later to buy some more red shirts too. So stay tuned for that one.
Dude, I love that. Now, as we're going through this, as you can see, that was taken at your workshop, 2019, I think that was.
Yes, it was when not long after we just met, and I think that was the first time we met actually face to face, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was first time, and wow, how has our relationship evolved since then?
And it's amazing because, and I suppose especially in the context of our wonderful viewers from across the world, you've absolutely taken off. And what I've found amazing about you, Adrian, I often teach the same thing to many people, but very few take it to the successful level that you've taken it, in all honesty, and power to you. You've taken the knowledge and run with it, and look at what you've achieved.
Yeah. Well, this is just the beginning, as I like to say, Ed. We're always just beginning, my man. So you will learn just by watching Edward and I in action. As you can see, we're in action shot there, and we're pumped and excited about life, as we should be. Now, a little bit about me. I'm a country boy. I was actually a fat country boy growing up, believe it or not. And I was fed up with a life of drugs and partying and mediocrity. And I was looking for more opportunities to move into the world and start leading people more so. As you get to know me over time, I'm very much, I'm not really a follower. I'm more of a leader. And I prefer to just, go down my own road and find my own way through life and bring awesome people along, like Edward Zia here. And also, we've got Tracy Kitching along the line as well. And who else do we have there? Alan. Welcome, Alan. It's great to have you here, my man. I love self-development, fitness, family, and eating nachos. And this picture on the left here was taken with the awesome Ed and the gang, Tremaine, Devang, Lassie, and the kids early on in the year. I'm a master coach level status, which means I've done 10,000 personal coaching hours. And by the way, Edward reminded me of this, when we were mentoring together, because at the end of the day, you're always moving forward, and you don't look back and see how far you've come in life. So thank you so much, Ed, for reminding me of that. I've worked with top business leaders across the world, and I continue to do that and, bring people into our environment, into our network, into our community, so we can all win together. You may have seen me on LinkedIn. I'm regarded as a top global fitness leader, and I also help fitness professionals around the world become successful influencers and build 6-figure plus online fitness businesses. But more importantly, I'm really here put on this earth to inspire other people to just take one action today. What's one action that can improve your life? That's what really I'm excited. Like I've got goosebumps now because that is just so much that comes straight from the heart. And as you get to know me, you'll see that I'm very much a giving person. Now, love to thank LinkedIn and our partners and friends. This is one of our networking events at the start of the year with Awesome Ed. Would love to thank Anytime Fitness for keeping us trim and terrific, and also LinkedIn for being an amazing platform to be able to, build relationships and network. And as you can see, all these winners around here, we wouldn't have been able to get those people together if it wasn't for LinkedIn and Awesome Edward Zia here on the left. Just want to say a big thanks to Rena Strahl, Tracy Kitching, who is online now, Catherine Nixon, Greg Gillies, Christian Lavolsi, Awesome Edward Zia, Tremaine Devang, and Marcus Yeo. These are some amazing clients and people in our lives that we have a lot of respect for and that are doing great things in their own business, and we love to support them as well. Now, fitness, my friend, is the foundation. All right? And I just want to say commitment, Ed, all right? Strength and consistency. Look at those photos. Just want to say, check out to 10 push-ups for you, all right? Sydney Harbour Bridge. Now, perfect day there. Great day. Sun is shining, took your hat off and getting it done. However, then we look at the progression. When the days aren't so sunshine and rainbows, well, there's probably a rainbow after this one, but essentially, you just want to get it done in all conditions. That's what life's about. It is about, moving through the challenging times, just getting it done anyway, making no excuses. That's how you slowly progress over time. All right. And you know what? How much fun were you having there, Ed?
It was amazing. And I remember that it was actually sleeting at the time during a Sydney winter. But it was all worth it though. And I love where you're going, and especially for a wonderful audience and fans watching. To me, I was actually doing it to make a philosophical point, and very much in the line of what you're doing is that, again, I'm not a fitness coach. I'm an influencer coach. I'm an influencer business coach in more, it does fitness on a secondary thing. You're the fitness guy. And the bit that was interesting is I was doing it more to make the point that I was sick and tired of hearing excuses. I had a lot of excuses thrown at me that day. Yeah. And that frustration caused me to do that push-up video in the rain to make that philosophical point.
Dude, I love it. And this one, wowzers, mate, we need to get like this. That's a portrait. That's like, you'd hang that up on your wall at home, that one.
I just need a bit of extra time. What I've done is, in full disclosure, and this is not Adrian's fault, this is Edward Zia's fault. I've been eating, over the past few weeks, I've eaten too much in the evenings. So now I'm trimming down the evenings to get extra trim and taut. So whilst I look good, my goal over the next few weeks is to look great. So stay tuned on that one.
Well, you'll still be living life and you'll still be feeling amazing regardless, I'm sure.
Totally.
So big point here. Fitness is a foundation, okay? And that allows Ed to be able to obviously do push-ups in the rain and in front of Sydney Harbour, but also win in business and in life, so he can show up for the people and the things that matter most to him. So big takeaway there, right?
And just on that one, if I can say as well, one thing that has really transformed what I've been doing, and Lassie, who's my wonderful wife, will tell you the same thing, is that since I've been getting sort of that real help from yourself, Adrian, my productivity is through the roof. So for example, I speak to more people in one day on LinkedIn, over LinkedIn Messenger, than I used to in 7 days. So again, I'm speaking to more people in a day than I did in a week. And that's just, as you know, as a sales guy, that's one of the reasons why my business is taking off. If you talk to more people, more things are going to go your way.
Love that. Let's just touch on that briefly. Why is that? Why are you able to do more in less time, Ed?
Yeah, I think there's several answers for that. I think one is, I think I'll give the mindset coaching answer first. I think from a mindset point of view is that because you look better, you feel better, you naturally become more of an assertive, confident type of character. And when you take that confidence into your business, be it, you're a corporate or working in your own business, makes no difference. You get super productive, because I used to be very half-hearted about what I was doing. Like, oh, give it a shot, maybe I'll succeed. Whereas now I'm in that super productive zone where, again, I do more work on social media before 10 a.m. than most people would do in a week, right? And no one would argue that, right? Productivity is right there. And the second answer is also having the actual, I suppose, the physical health. So you got the energy to sustain it, and that's very important because, again, it's okay to say do this and do that, but if you don't have the physical energy and vitality to sustain it, it's not going to last. You'll do it for 2 or 3 days and you'll fall over. Whereas I can sustain it 7 days and enjoy, and not in a hard way. It's positive, it's fun, it's enjoyable. That's a key point as well. So in a way, I'm not disciplining myself because I enjoy it too, if that logic makes sense.
Yeah, total sense. Now, while it just the light bulb went off in my brain and said, if you're watching the recording of this, make sure you reach out to Edward or myself if you've got any questions as we're going through this interview today, because Ed, you love talking to people, you love answering questions. So make sure you reach out to Ed on LinkedIn and myself on LinkedIn as well. And if you have any questions as we're going through this, make sure that you just pop a question in the chat there. We love keeping it raw and real here in Leeway Lifestyle. So let's keep moving forward. Fitness and health lifestyle. This is about you having a fun and fulfilling and a great life experience. Now, Ed, you were having a great life experience there before in those photos. Same here with my beautiful wife, Al. This is a picture of us in Greece 6 months before COVID hit. We decided to go on a bit of a trip and we had no idea what was going to happen after that. But, we enjoyed our life and we made it happen. And that's what it's about. It's about being able to stay fit and healthy so you can do the things with the people that matter most. And you can also, live the life and build the career that you want. Now, some recommendations: How to Win Friends and Influence People. One of the most amazing books that I've ever read since when I first came across it, probably 10 years ago. And I read it twice a year at least. All right. And it's all about becoming better at communicating with other human beings. And more importantly, keeping a positive circle of winning friends, as you would say, Ed. Have you read that book?
I think I did, like maybe 20 years ago, if I remember correctly. I think it's an old classic, which I read a long time ago. And no, I really enjoy it because ultimately it's be it you're a corporate or a business owner, makes no difference.
Yeah.
If you don't have powerful friends in the right places, you're not going to win. Not going to happen.
Spot on. And Sylvester Stallone. Who doesn't love Sylvester Stallone? Yo, Adrian!
Adrian. And to think that what I love about Sylvester Stallone is just such a he's a literal rags to riches story. And that is just so inspiring.
Now, the next book is by Andrea Clarke, Future Fit. And Andrea is doing some great work. She's an Australian influencer on LinkedIn. And amazing book, but it's more importantly, how to stay relevant and competitive in the work that you do. All right. So I think that's really very relevant for what we're talking about here. And a bit like Ed, rags to riches. Absolutely love that, Tracy. You are too cool. The one thing, all right, as I've mentioned in past webinars this year, is that instead of trying to do, 5 to 10 different things or having, X amount of goals, what would happen if you just had one goal or focused on one thing and built momentum? And that will allow you to be able to get to where you want to go a lot faster. But more importantly, you're simplifying the process and eliminating all the things that really don't matter. So highly recommend the one thing. Obviously, surprisingly simple, a simple thing, but extraordinary results. Business Growth Mindset by Christian Lavalsi. He's an amazing client and also a very well-known and popular entrepreneur. Just getting really started on LinkedIn. But Christian has had over 80 plus businesses and he's failed to success many times over. So highly recommend you go and get that book. The New Rules of Lifting for Life. Love this book by Alwyn Cosgrove. These guys are the what would you say they are? These guys started the whole like home workout revolution. They're the ones that really sort of paved the way for the future of fitness. And to be honest with you, you know, we don't need to recreate the wheel here when it comes to fitness and health. Success is already it's already been paved. The way has been paved for fitness and health. All we need to do is simply just follow the simple things like moving and eating, like whole foods. It's very simple. And that book goes into the simplicity of fitness and nutrition and how you can do that at any age. So highly recommend that book. Now, please ask me for a copy of my Healthy Habits Guide. Now, the reason is I surveyed over 5,000 people on LinkedIn, 5,000, and asked them what was important to them when it comes to their health and fitness. And they come back to me and I put a guide together. So it's being well researched and it's got some great info on there. Real simple action steps that you can take to build healthy habits for life. So please reach out, ask me on LinkedIn for a copy and happy to send that over for you.
If I can just jump in what you're saying there, Adrian, I love where you're going on those healthy habits because, and I'll give you an example. Before we met, I've spent my whole life crash dieting, right? I either be really slim or I'd lose it, really slim and really lose it. And probably about the time that we met, and again, being a man in my 40s, I got really tired of that living, right? And you get the right, the whole, you're either crash dieting or you're fat. Anyways, no. So what I did is that I said, I want to enter my 40s and do it the right way. And so hence being at the gym 4 or 5 times a week, it's been awesome. And the biggest thing for me, like I like what you said about doing one thing now, because the biggest problem I have right now is I just eat too much in the evenings, but I'm going to the gym 4 times a week. I've built muscle mass. So I've solved all these other problems thanks to your wonderful help and more. And now I'm just focusing on that. For me, the final frontier is controlling what I eat in the evenings. That is, once I do that, I'm done for life. So I like how you put it. It's healthy habits for life. And that's why I'm very dark on this whole crash dieting thing. This whole crash dieting thing, it might get you the results for a few months, but it's fake news, isn't it? It's an absolute disaster, crash dieting.
Yeah. Keep in mind too, Ed, like I think when's the first meal of the day that you have?
Well, generally speaking, I love having just lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
Right. I found for me, and I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I do really well on 1 to 2 meals a day. Whenever I've had 3 meals a day, my system just doesn't like it. It's just not for me. So I found that, but where I've gone wrong lately is I just been eating too much in the evenings, pure and simple. So the big problem is I had it for a while, but and just being in full disclosure, I slipped up and I corrected myself 3 days ago. So now it's 3 days in to having very small evening meals.
Awesome. And
it's funny to say that. I agree with your healthy habits for life sentiment. The whole, take this, take that, do the crash diet. It doesn't work out in the long run. You might look good for about 6 or 12 months, but 2 years later, you're going to be back to where you started, if not worse.
Ed, spot on, my man. And I think too, you've just got to find what works for you and be conscious of it. There's no right or wrong way. It's just like, cool, science says this, great, but what works for us? So spot on.
And I think on that note, and this is and this is just an opinion. So, but I think as well, I come from a Middle Eastern background, and in the Middle East, having 1 to 2 meals a day is the norm. So my ancestors would have grown up on 1 to 2 meals a day. That would have been the norm for them. So for me to break ranks and eat 3 meals a day is kind of, sticking it to my DNA, which is probably not the best thing to do.
And I guess, look, Ed, it's not like matter when you eat, it's like what you eat.
Yeah.
How much of it like dictates, and obviously, sleep habits and things make a big difference to that. But either way, healthy habits life. It's not sexy, but the key is to build those sustainable habits because then they bleed into everything that you do in life. All right. Now 3 questions to ask yourself. What's driving you to make changes in 2021? What is driving you to make changes in 2000? Why is this year a different year for you? All right. How will this impact the people around you? All right. From you taking action or not taking action. All right. So think about not only yourself. Remember, like in life, if we, go into ourselves too much, then we're not giving, which is what we're designed to do. We're designed to think about others, to be part of a network, a tribe, a community, or whatever you want to call it. But we're designed to be able to give back to others and the community. And when you give to others, you'll be so much happier in all areas of life because you'll be focusing on others and not yourself. What's one thing that you're going to do to get there? What's one thing? What's one action? All right, because it's not about having a full plan system. It's simply just about building momentum, taking action. And that's where you'll start to refine things. You'll do more of what works and less of what doesn't. All right. So, Edward Zia, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I want to sit here and have a good old yarn with you, my man. Ed, thank you for being here, brother. Now, I want to know a little bit about Edward Zia. Tell us, why are you so awesome? Why are you so awesome? But what happened in the early days for you? What was happening in your journey to get you to where you are now?
A great question. I think a lot of people think I'm awesome, and I'll tell you why. Then that's because of the reason that people think you're awesome. It's because of our giving orientation. Yeah. And it's kind of, there's a saying in Arabic, which doesn't translate very well into English, but it basically goes like this. It's very hard to hate someone who's helping you, right?
Spot on.
But basically, it translates roughly from Arabic. And where I'm coming from there is that, when you're a giving person, you're going to be very popular and people are going to love you, right? Just pure and simple. People are going to think you're awesome. It's interesting, actually, and going back to some of your earlier points. I find that people like yourself, like the wonderful Tracy who's on the line, and big shout to Tracy teaching as well, and whoever's watching, is that the people who are the most giving are actually the most successful in life. They're the ones who win the most.
Yeah, why is that, Ed?
Well, I think it goes back to the old Arabic saying, which translates very poorly in English, but basically says, it's quite cynical in nature, as a lot of Arabic sayings are. It's hard to hate someone who's helping you. And I think talking more as an influencer, if you're, for example, what you're doing now, you're doing a free live webinar, which is probably going to be watched hundreds of times, if not thousands of times, helping people.
Yeah. I
don't see many other fitness people globally doing what you're doing. So when you have that giving orientation about you and you're busy serving the community, that's how you can become very popular. And for example, as you know, I'm quite involved in Australian politics with the Liberal Party.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. If you look at the top politicians, the ones who just keep getting elected and elected, they're the ones who are the most charming, the most charismatic, the most giving in their nature, and the best at sort of serving their community. They're the ones that just keep getting elected and elected over and over again. Yeah.
Ed, tell us a little bit about the early days when you were a homeless veteran.
Yeah, so what happened to me was, and for the sake of the audience, so I'm in my early 40s now. So 40, I think I'm 42. I'm 42 right now, right? And early 40s. And what happened to me is that in my late 20s when I turned 30, I was a homeless veteran. I was a homeless veteran for about 10 months, give or take. And I was living in my car at the time. And what was interesting about that was, it was a real reset button in my life, and it was a chance for me to really think about my life differently, because obviously the way I've been living my life to that point was completely unsustainable, which is why I wound up in that position. I still to this day had PTSD, like post-traumatic stress disorder, from a injury when I was working on a drug case with the government. But it wasn't just that. It wasn't just I had a mental illness and it made me a homeless veteran. I was loaded with absolute scarcity thinking. So it was what put me in that position of, once I was a very successful, in the government. I had a really good corporate career after that. But what put me in that position was a mixture of a mental illness, so, pure on PTSD. But it wasn't just that. It was a mixture of that combined with real bad scarcity thinking that led to really poor decision making that put me in that position. So, and as a caveat as well, I'm not angry at anyone. I'm not one of those veterans who's blaming the government. I'm not one of them. Whilst the government could have taken more responsibility, I put myself in that position through scarcity thinking and poor decision making.
Okay. Ed, how did you start to overcome that thinking, that mindset? Like, what triggered it? What was that time in your life where you're like I need to do something about this?
Well, what happened to me, and again, I'm going to, I'm quite a strong Christian. I think Jesus is awesome. Jesus is the greatest guy ever, and all that, right? So, and just a quick caveat to the audience: whatever religion or whatever you believe in, absolutely respectful of it. Just multiple paths of the same God. So I'm a massive Christian, and what happened to me was that because I knew I was going to be homeless, right? So, and it's another whole conversation. Preparing to be homeless, you know, you're going to be homeless. And you know you're up for some rough times, right? So it's interesting when you're going through that process of saying, I'm going to be living this new life. It's going to be insane. And when I was, you would say, preparing to be homeless, so to speak,
Yep.
I had a very, very spiritual, a bit of a Jesus-y view about it, actually. I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. I felt like I deserved it. And this has been a long time coming. And I felt like this is going to be the great reset for me, which it was. So, and also, too, I saw it as, not everyone's going to agree with this statement, but this is going to sound very Old Testament of me. But I also saw it, earlier in my life, I did some bad things to some people who didn't deserve it. I did some bad things to some good people. And I saw my homeless time as redemption. I saw it as, in a way, punishment, but a chance for me to redeem myself. So I had no anger or malice about it. I actually embraced what was coming to me because, yeah, I deserved it. And I totally embraced it. And I had a very spiritual viewpoint of what I went through, very, very spiritual perspective of it.
Yeah. Ed, tell us a little bit about your, what's your ideas around like gratitude and how it sort of improves your life, and how has it being able to like transform you from those times of struggle and pain and all that, to be able to just be so positive and sort of surround yourself with, amazing people.
Yeah, and spot on. And the gratitude is what changed everything, because one of the decisions I made during that period is that if I'm going to remain on this earth, I want to come back as a gratitude character, right? You know, I'm not going to continue what I was doing. We're going to go take the show in a whole new direction, you would say. So I came back coming from the pure frame of gratitude. And that transformed everything, right? It absolutely transformed everything. And it says it over and over again in the Bible as well. Jesus always talks about the importance of gratitude. So what it was is that I came back at it from a complete viewpoint of gratitude. And I said, and just as a quick caveat, I'm not a guy who lives in a loincloth. I'm a Persian guy. I want a big house. I want a big car. I want to travel and do the rest of it. So I do have a level of materialism about me. I'm not some weird Buddhist who lives in the mountains, right? As much as I love Buddhists, right? Right? No offense to the Buddhists, but yeah, I'm not one of those guys who lives in the mountains, right? So I'm quite capitalistic at the same time. However, I wanted to come in from the point of view of gratitude. So I wanted to make a real impact on the world and people around me. And as time passed, I felt like I want to help people, not necessarily as tragically in the deep end as I was, but I want to really help people from that point of view. And that influenced me to start doing a lot of free things. So I used to run a lot of free workshops, run a lot of free webinars, run a lot of free networking events. And that whole, I'm going to run all this free stuff for the community, it may be really popular, it may be really famous, because as I said before, it's very hard to hate someone that's doing you a favor, right? So, and when you unpack that funny, cynical, Arabic sounding statement, right, and you expand on it and you build on that, it's sort of like, oh, okay, well, the opposite, if you're busy serving your community, you're going to be very popular. You're going to have the odd lunatic that hates you, but overall, you're going to be very popular. And back to you, Adrian, that's why you have such a great following, because you're doing the same thing. You know, you spend your whole life serving the community, and that's why you're such a global superstar.
Dude, I love that. Ed, what does strength mean to you?
Yeah, I probably take I probably have quite of a holistic view of that. I would say I probably measure it in several metrics. So one is, again, we're talking spiritual strength. So how spiritually in tune you are with the universe. Again, being, I'm religiously neutral. So whatever you believe in, all for it, right? Just so you know, we've got clients who are Christians, Muslims, Wiccans, we got Buddhists, we got everyone, right? We even got a few atheists too. So we got everyone. So whatever is your interpretation of spirituality, that's a form of strength. You don't, of course, have, the Adrian Lea domain, the physical strength, which is very important. So that physical strength, you're going to die, and which is bad. Death does not help you win. And the the third one I think is, of course, we call it more societal strength. And when you unpack societal strength, that can mean, things such as how much money you have, how sustainable your funding is, and also things like social capital is a very important form of strength. And as you know, I'm quite active politically. We have a term called social capital, which is how well are you liked in your community? And from a social capital point of view, the people who are very popular in their communities, you get all the opportunities. Money comes to you. People hire you first. So, for example, in your case, I'd say on a local, like internationally, you've got a lot of social capital, but on a local Melbourne level, you've got a lot of social capital as well, which is, I'm sure, one of the reasons why you're so powerful.
Ed, I love that. Ed, what gets Edward Zia up every day? What inspires you to be so consistent? Like ever since I've known you, you have just been like, 10 posts a day on LinkedIn and just being consistent every day. You show up and you're always giving. What drives you to do that? Why have you been so consistent?
Yeah, because I think what it is then, and it was funny actually, I had a bit of an epiphany yesterday in answering that question. What drives me in being consistent is I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I'm a very smart guy. So I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I'm a very smart guy who's made a lot of mistakes. And one thing I realized was that I always wanted to have this sort of lifestyle. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so happy now. I'm now achieving the lifestyle I set out to achieve 10 years ago. It took me a goddamn decade, but we got there. No blasphemy. But, I'm getting there, right? And what it is that having the lifestyle that I want is very important to me. So, for example, a lifestyle where I can enjoy myself, I can spend my time helping people, making great money, which we are, and also, serve my family in that. And yesterday, for example, I had a webinar last night, which took a bit of work, but yeah, I spent the day just playing on LinkedIn, playing on Instagram, went to the gym with Lassie, went shopping, had something to eat, pick up the kids from childcare. It was like a perfect day. And I realized, hang on, I couldn't have done this even 5 years ago. So I think creating that lifestyle is important in terms of consistency. I know that I'll only achieve that through consistent behavior. So if I don't post the way that I do, I wouldn't have the life that I'm living now. It just wouldn't be there.
Interesting. Ed, what are some key things that you've taken away in the last 5 years that the people watching this now might be able to not make the same mistakes, or maybe even, take actionable steps to sort of fast track their success?
Yeah, look, one big mistake that I made, I got in a lot of trouble a few years ago, actually. Pre-virus, by the way, I got in a lot of trouble. So one big mistake that I made was that I was making a lot of, and this is in my older business, right? Before I went the influencer coach direction, I was making a lot of money out of a few clients, and we all know where the story ends, right? So I had a few people giving me lots of money. We know where the story is going to go.
Yeah.
And I was killing it, mate. It wasn't sustainable. I was making a lot of money. And what happened was, this is a few years back, pre-virus. We had an election where it looked like the left government was going to win, right? And because the way it works, for the sake of the audience, when you're watching, in business, left governments freak out businesses, because when a left government comes in, it often makes choices that aren't in favor of business. That's just the way it goes. So just the chance of a leftist government winning an election freaks out the market. And I lost a lot of my clients in a very, very short space of time, even though the right-wing government won, which is a government that we have now in Australia. And what happened to me was that I went from hero to zero very quickly. And I realized what happened. And I realized the mistake of what I did was that whilst I was making a lot of money, I didn't have the sustainability in place, right? Which is why I got in a lot of trouble. And then that precipitated me going in the new direction. Fortunately, I became an influencer before COVID hit, so I did really well through COVID because I already had the systems and that in place. But the key thing was, and this is what I say to everyone, is my biggest mistake was not being famous enough. So I was famous on a local level to make a lot of money, but what I realized was if you want to be really successful in business, everyone's got to know you. You've got to be seen thousands of times a day, because that gives you power. And it goes back to what we talk about in politics called social capital. So, for example, back to you, Adrian, right now you're building up your social capital beautifully, which is why you're so popular, which is why for many people, you're the number one choice when it comes to personal training or how to become an influencer on LinkedIn if you're a PT or whatever.
Yeah. Very, very insightful, Ed. Tracy Kitching has a question. How do you keep your mindset so strong?
Yeah, that's not an easy one. I slip at times as well, and believe me, there are many days where I don't have a strong mindset. Okay, I have good days and bad days like everyone else. Important thing is, and as a Christian, is prayer is very important. So prayer and also focused meditation. So, for example, I go to the city usually. I live in Sydney, and I usually go to the city 2 days a week. I take the train quite a bit, and on the train, I like to relax and think, even close my eyes. It's about a half an hour train ride. I like to think, relax, close my eyes. So I really like to clear my mind, focus on, I'm going to say I'm a Christian, but I'm going to say the universe, focus on the universe. And I like to feel what the universe is telling me. So it's not about Edward's ear, chasing where he's going to get his next burrito from, because I like burritos. But what it is, bit of trivia, a lot of Middle Eastern guys will love Mexican food. But what it more is that it's more an internalized process of, what does the universe want of me? So it's not me living out my desires. It's me trying to channel the energy of the universe and say, all right, universe, what do you want from me today? What do you want me to do? And that's one of the reasons why my life is working out, because when you follow the path of the universe, or in my case, Jesus, which is the way I look at it, that's when life flows a lot better.
Gotcha. What do you think about that, Trace? That's the way we do it.
We've got a full sermon, mate. I like it. I have to put on my Templar robe in a minute and rip out my Bible.
Ed, tell us about why did you get into a fitness routine not so long ago?
Yeah, so I started going to the gym not very well, probably my early 30s. I probably started going to the gym, but I only went once or twice a week. So whilst I was going, and you would know this again being a PT guy, going to the gym once or twice a week is a good thing, right? It is a good thing, but you're not going to get the big physical transformation doing that. So again, if anyone's listening, please go to the gym once or twice a week. It's way better than it's a million times better than zero, right? So I'm just not condemning anyone who's doing that. However, going to the gym once or twice a week, it won't give you the physical transformation that you probably really want. It's like that's a 3-4 time a week job, as you would know, right?
Yeah.
And for me, and it's sort of meeting you and getting your influence, and also taking us a global influencer. And also we've restructured our business in such a way where I can go to the gyms. I used to be, when I was making those big dollars, right? I had one month where I made over $50,000, and I'm like, wow, that was awesome, right? But I was also working over 100 hours a week, and I was burning out, right? So it was an unsustainable existence. But I remember having that crazy month, which is wonderful. But the key thing about it, and this is the thing that really impacted me, was that, how can I live in a more sustainable way? And now the way the business structure, I go to the gym 5 times a week if I want, and I often do. It's great. I can take it easy. And having that systemized business has given me the room to work on my fitness and health routine, which then again, it's, as you're saying, it's a whole feedback loop. The healthier and fitter you get is the more it improves your business. The more you improve your business is the more room to become healthier and fitter, and you have that, positive feedback cycle occurring.
Boom. Yeah. Ed, how has you living a healthier lifestyle impacted your family?
Well, it's been very good. So I'm trying to keep it PG here because of all the kiddies, but from a romance intimacy level, it's a lot better, of course, trying to keep it PG. Otherwise we'll get our LinkedIn account shut down.
Yes.
But, from a romance intimacy point of view, it is fantastic. And also too, as well, from a personal point of view, you just feel so much better. So for example, because I've been having light dinners, I'll give you an example, right? I'm sitting on my bed doing the Zooms. I just like sitting on bed. So as I'm sitting here, I feel pretty good. Like my stomach doesn't, when you eat a big meal and you get that bloated feeling in the stomach, that's terrible. Right now, I feel pretty good. Right now, just sitting here, I got a little bit of a belly, but it's not annoying me. Whereas a week ago, because I was eating too much, I just felt like this spare tire around me. So it's just feeling better in all those moments. And certainly as well, it just comes down to, as you're saying before, you're having a better, and I'm going to sound like Adrian Lea here, but you're having a better life experience because, instead of feeling like crap, your business doesn't work, everyone hates you, you're feeling good, you're winning, you look good, you're sexy, it feels good, that sort of thing.
Ed, love that. Now, Ed, what are 3 recommendations that you would give the audience to really start winning in not only their fitness, but in all areas of their life in 2021?
Yeah. Well, I think definitely the first one is don't do it by yourself. Get involved. Again, if you are one of Adrian's clients, listen to Adrian more. If you're not one of Adrian's clients, sign up. Adrian's got a lot of programs. So hire someone like Adrian to give you the community and support to get there. And that by itself will help push you on the fitness journey. Okay. And we're all different. No, and by the way, I like going to the gym. Gym's not for everyone, which Adrian will tell you. It's about finding your own fitness thing that you enjoy and you find positive, right? So I think it's number one. So get someone like Adrian to help you on that. Point number 2 is probably really, really think about your business and where you're heading and ask yourself, is your business or your job, and when I say business, be it you're a corporate or your own business, don't care, but is your job, is your business taking you in the direction that you want? And if the answer is no, it's time to do a rejig. So it might be time for you to do a reboot. It's very important. Every now and then you got to do a reskin, you got to reboot like a lizard, you got to shed the old skin and you got to grow a new skin and come up with a new direction in life. So if you're watching, in fact, I bet you for 3 out of 4 people watching, it's time for a reboot. It's time for you to reboot your life and reboot your business. And reboots can be small and they can be quite severe, but whatever reboot you need to do your reboot. And the third thing is really go for it. Really go out, whatever your reboot tells you to do, really go for it in that direction, because if you don't really go for it in an extreme sort of way, you're not going to get there. So for example, I decided I want to become a top global LinkedIn influencer, and I've achieved that. I post 10 times a day on LinkedIn. I wouldn't have achieved the notoriety I have posting once a day. Because again, I really wanted that goal, and it was a great goal because it solved a lot of other problems, business and clients and all that. But really go after your goals in a really, really extreme way.
Yeah, I love that. Ed, what does the future look like for you? What does 2021 look like for you?
Well, based on what's happened so far, it's looking really, really good. So for me, so relationship-wise and health-wise, going really well. As I said, I've been screwing up my evenings. I just jumped on top of that one on Saturday. So give me a few weeks of looking after my evenings. Give me a good month and I'll be okay. So come back to me in a month and I'll be good on that one.
Yeah.
I don't want to fall off the horse again. So really controlling my evenings. Our goal is to double our business size, which we doubled it last year. So doubling it this year. And that was during, the crazy year of lockdown. So that's what we're saying is not unreasonable in that regard. And probably the third thing is as well is also getting more active politically in my community. So I do a lot of work in politics, both on a federal and a state level. So I'm also getting a lot more active politically. So there's a lot of political stuff behind the scenes that I'm working on, which I can't really talk about here, but a lot of cool stuff behind the scenes.
Ed, tell the audience about your events and programs. Tell them what's going on with you at the moment.
Well, thank you. Well, from an international point of view, we've got online mentoring programs. We've got our global business community. We run weekly webinars and Zooms, bringing people together from around the globe. And on a Australian level, we've got events all across Australia. We've got the wonderful Adrian Lea, who works with Simon, helping run our Melbourne events. So we've got our Melbourne events. We've got events in Sydney, which is where I'm based. We've got events in Queensland coming up. We've got Canberra, which is our capital. It's like our Washington, D.C., except it's not surrounded by military. We're quite, as I said, Australia's quite a stable country. We don't have too many crazy things here. Yep. And we're even starting events in Perth, which is on our west coast of Australia. So got a whole face-to-face Australian network, plus we've got a whole international network as well.
Love it. And Ed, tell the audience about your famous vault.
Oh, thank you. So our global mentoring program is called the Awesome Marketing Vault. Basically, it gives you access to great content. It gives you access to me, and also it gives you access to a global network of winners. And Adrian's actually one of our affiliates. So if you are watching this and you want to sign up, speak to Adrian. You can speak to me, but speak to Adrian and get his affiliate link, because it'll cost you the same, but a beautiful 30% goes to Adrian and you still get the same level of support and love for us. So have a chat to Adrian if you're watching this webinar. He'll give you his code. And basically what it'll do is you'll become part of our global community where you get priority access, you get access to myself, you get all the promotional support, and we're there to help enable you to win big. But again, if you are watching this, Don't go to me, go to Adrian for the affiliate link work first and make sure you sign up through Adrian. But any questions, of course, ask me in that regard.
Yeah. And I just want to say, Ed, just as we're getting towards the end now, is mate, the 2 days that I spent with you when you were here in Melbourne, like shifted my whole mindset and my whole life. Like, and I just want to say that Ed and I had a goal, and it was to, complete a project by February, and we crushed it. And that's the power of having that accountability, but more so having someone that you don't want to disappoint. I don't want to disappoint Ed. More to the point that he believes in me, and obviously, he's supporting me on social media and through everything that I'm doing. So that is the key: having someone there that you don't want to disappoint, but aligning your goals and your actions, and to be honest with you, like giving yourself a deadline and halving it, because success loves speed. You build momentum, and that is the key. It's called progress. All right. And that's what we sort of fuels our day and gets us excited about life, because that's when we start to put others before ourselves. Obviously, you got to focus on yourself first to get yourself right in your mind and your body. But after that, it's all about serving the community and, inspiring others. So I just want to say that the breakthrough day that we had, man, truly changed my life. And Tracy's on here as well. She knows that. And it's, gave her a couple of ideas as well along the way. But yeah, dude, like I really appreciate you. And you've truly, you're an amazing human and mentor, and you've got like such a giving heart, and everyone knows it. So
thank you. And if I can mention too, now you've had the breakthrough day with me, Adrian, you're offering breakthrough days too, aren't you? Tell us about your breakthrough days.
Well, Ed, yes, that's very true. And as we get through towards the end, I'll be able to share that with you. Yep. So we'll get there.
I don't mean to jump the gun, but I had to ask.
No, I know. And I think too, one of the things that I took away from you, Ed, was like, it's not so much about what we want, but what the actual person wants to work on. And I think that was important, because then they have to then go and really think about what's important to them and what they need the most help with. Because, yeah.
And I couldn't agree with you more, because on that note, everyone's different. You can have two people that appear identical on the surface, but they've got two totally sets of different problems. And at the end of the day, the whole, and back to you on this point, the point of the Adrian Lea Breakthrough Mastery Day is that, everyone's different. You're helping people solve their particular problems in laser light speed. So what you achieve in a day, it saves them a year of their own personal development journey.
Yeah, spot on. Boom. That's a double boom.
Oh, double boom. I like it. Double boom.
Ed, final thoughts. What are some final thoughts? Being present in the moment, being grateful. What are some final thoughts you want to share, if you have any?
Yeah, the key final thought I have for everyone watching is the whole consistent behavior. That's very important, because, and I'm testament to that. Again, and I love saying this because A, it feeds my ego, but B, it's just objectively true. I was a homeless veteran like a bit over a decade ago, and now I'm a global superstar. That was achieved through, I didn't win Tats Lotto, I didn't win the lottery and everything was awesome. No, that was achieved through consistent daily behavior, day in and day out. And I was very lucky to figure that out earlier on. So I say this to you listening, I can't say this enough. Your success will come through consistent daily behavior. So the more consistent you are, is the better life experience you're going to have, and the better circumstances you're going to create for yourself, your family, and your community around you.
Love that, Ed. And Ed, I just had a final thought as you were going through it. Mate, who do you look up to? Who are your mentors? Who are the people that you follow? Finally.
There's a few different people. One is a certain president from America that I'm not allowed to talk about on social media. So a certain orange president who I look up to a lot, but I can't say too much these days.
Yeah.
So a certain orange president. I also am a huge fan of Elon Musk. I love Elon Musk. I'm a huge Bill Gates fan. So I really love Bill Gates. I love Elon Musk. And also I love a few other people. There's a political commentator on YouTube by the name of Dr. Steve Turley, who I follow. And also, too, I'm a huge Scott Adams fan. So Scott Adams, who's the creator of Dilbert, he was actually the guy that set me, when I did a big reboot, Scott Adams is the guy that set me off in the whole persuasion influencer direction. So he was a huge part of me rebooting my business pre-COVID, which was amazing.
Boom. I love that. Edward Lea, mate, thank you so much. We will definitely do another interview again at some point. But I really appreciate you being here today. I just want to thank everyone who's watching. And if you are watching this recording, please don't hesitate to reach out to Edward. Every time, especially on LinkedIn, every time I suggest someone go and speak to Edward, I always say, be prepared. You're going to get a big injection of positive energy, and you'll probably get a video as well.
It's not the COVID vaccine, it's the Edward vaccine. There we go. Yeah, the mandatory Edward vaccine.
I love that, dude. I'm gonna tell
mandatory Edward vaccine.
Love that. Oh my, I'm definitely gonna tell them that. But yeah, dude, you're great positive energy. You've inspired me to then go and service others and really impact one person at a time. And I literally, one person is all it takes to change your life. You taught me that, and I can't stop saying it. I just say it all the time now. So,
and on that, your live webinar that you're doing right now, power to you, by the way. And this is what I say of live webinars, whether you have 10 people watching, 0 people watching, the recordings get watched hundreds of times. So through this one act of your live webinar, hundreds of people are going to see this webinar at least, and it's going to change a lot of lives just in itself.
Edward, love it. You rock. Thank you. Now let's continue on. Edward, appreciate you, dude.
Anytime.
All right. So, what actions are you going to take from this webinar? Love to know in the chat. Now, alternatively, if you're watching this replay, make sure you reach out to Ed or myself and let us know. So maybe we can support you, give you some recommendations, or point you in the right direction. Alrighty. Now, Adrian's closing thoughts. Learn to measure progress. All right. Start measuring your success. Okay. Because that builds momentum. It's one thing. All right. So whether it's, tracking your steps, maybe it's tracking your food intake, maybe it's, closing the window of time that you eat, maybe it's, who knows what it is for you. Maybe it's your business metrics. Maybe it's the amount of calls you do a day or messages you send out or whatever it is. Start to measure your progress, because what gets measured gets managed. All right. So learn to measure progress. And would love to thank, obviously, our awesome people for being in the photos. And today, because we're doing an interview with Edward, it's mostly Edward Lea on here. And of course, myself. But I would love to thank the awesome Tracy Kitching for being here. Tracy is an amazing human. She supports me every time I show up somewhere, whether it's on social media or a webinar or whatever it is. I'm super grateful to have Tracy.
And if I can second the motion as well for Tracy Kitching, she's an amazing woman of integrity that knows how to win. So if I can say, I second the motion for Tracy Kitching.
Yes. Thank you, Ed. But yeah, Tracy's awesome. And she's had an amazing journey. And you can learn more about her by going to check her out on LinkedIn. We've got Rena Strahl, Greg Gillies, awesome Edward Lea, Christian Lavolsi, Tremaine and Devang, who are business partners at 24/7 Direct. And if you don't know, they support myself and our LinkedIn strategy on LinkedIn.
And sorry if I can jump in again. If I can second the motion for Tremaine as well. Lassie's assistant, Justine, Tremaine hired her. So we're proud customers of Tremaine as well. So sorry to interrupt, but I'd like to second the Tremaine Murphy motion too.
Boom. Love your work, Tremaine and Devang. Devang and Tremaine, awesome humans. Make sure you connect with them. Rena Strahl, make sure you connect with Rena. She's an amazing human. Actually, she's had huge growth on LinkedIn. I think in the last, don't quote me on this, but around 7 months, she's gone from like 4,000 followers to like 60,000+ now in a short time. She's building an amazing network. And also what I want you to take away from this is see these people that we're acknowledging right now, right? We're building a supportive networking partnership style community here where we all support each other on the journey. And we also look at our inner circle if we ever need anything, whether it's a service or, a product or whatever it is, or maybe we just, want to have a chat. Either way, I can't stress it enough. Networking is the key. Building strong partnerships and relationships is the key to your business and success in life. Catherine Nixon, also an awesome sleep specialist. Catherine's an amazing lady. All awesome humans. Greg Gillies, love your work. Thank you so much. And I invite you to a free one-time strategy session to help you become the fittest, strongest, healthiest version of yourself. And as I always say, Mark Carroll changed my life. Also an amazing health and fitness mentor in the industry. So much respect for you, my man. Love your work. I'll give you at least 3 recommendations. We can cover some key topics on how we can work together. Simply just message me on LinkedIn and we can book a time that suits you. Alrighty. Now, special invite 1, the Leeway Lifestyle Program with Adrian Lea and Tracy Kitching. As you can see here, there's Tracy. Tracy is an awesome nutrition coach at Leeway Lifestyle. Get coached, inspired by us, but more importantly, surround yourself with a community of like-minded, positive, inspiring people. That's what we're trying to build here. And that starts at $97 per month. We also have a free 7-day trial. You can cancel at any time. If it's not the right fit for you, that's all good. We just want to make it nice and easy for you to come in, start getting results that you want, start changing your life, and just being happier in all areas. Next up, this is what Edward was speaking about earlier. As we get into it, that was a lovely picture that we had earlier on in the year. The Leeway Business Influencer Suite. If you're wanting to level up on your business, build a profile on LinkedIn, build a brand, and actually start having people come to you, all right, high value customers, then this is the program for you. Starting at $600 per month, no locking contracts, cancel anytime. And you can contact me directly on LinkedIn to learn more. But yeah, that was a great day, Ed.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. And the food was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh, delicious food.
And for the sake of the audience too, those two, that handsome Indian man and that handsome bald man besides me, that's Tremaine and Devang.
Yeah. So that was a great day. That started to pave the way for the year. We got together and mapped out a bit of a game plan, and we're pumping.
Yeah, and Lassie is as an honourable mention too. And thank you again. Lassie and I have been going to, so this is the first year Lassie and I now go to the gym together as well. So Lassie's been having a wonderful gym experience too.
Love it. And look at the kids. They look super happy.
Yeah. And for the sake of the audience, Lassie's the hot Asian chick in the photo. Who, that's Lassie. Just in case you want to know.
Love it. All right. As Ed was saying before, the Breakthrough Mastery Day with Adrian Lea. They're 4 of my awesome friends, Fit Pros from all around the globe. Inspirational Breakthrough Mastery Day with Adrian Lea help you focus on overcoming issues and fast track your success in business and life. And this is truly just about you focusing on the things that you want to improve in your life, specific for you. All right. Contact me for payment options and details. Highly recommend it. And also for current clients, we have 30% off as well for current clients. So we want to be able to look after our community and give back, not only to really support them moving forward. Now, take action now, my friend. Take action now. Book a strategy session with me, contact me, connect with me, whatever platform suits you. And I'm super excited for our next live webinar, Adrian's Secrets to Preventing Lower Back Pain and Building a Strong, Resilient Core. So at Leeway Fitness, this month is all about building a strong core, being mindful of your posture, and really starting to live pain-free, all right? So love your work. Thank you, Ed. And thank you for coming on board today. Tracy and Alan, thank you so much. You guys rock. And please reach out anytime. Have an amazing day. All right. Live life. Feel amazing. Take one action step today, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Edward Zia, thank you so much. Thank you to my beautiful wife and our poodle. And that was when Elle was pregnant, but it's just such a lovely photo. I love to continue showing it to the world. Anyway, love your work, appreciate you, and we will speak to you very soon. Love your work, Ed.